What's up, Creature Preacher crew? It's Chris Davis, the Creature Preacher, coming to you um, on part two of the Gnats escapades. So it's been a long time coming as far as this video, getting it out there, but definitely wanted to give you guys an update on kind of how things are doing. So, good news, the gnat infestation is gone. It's been gone for a while. You know, um, so what worked, what didn't work, right? From my last video. On the last video, the vinegar, apple cider vinegar jars with dish soap in them were decent, but they weren't honestly as effective as I thought they would be. The gnats weren't as attracted to them as I thought. The one that I put in the tank, of course, that didn't work out with the Savannah. They're going to dig and tear up everything. So I think that stayed in there maybe the rest of that day, and then I moved it elsewhere. I kept them out for a while, but there were the Venus flytrap as well. Savannahs, they're going to dig. Keeping live plants in Savannah enclosures is really tough because they're going to dig them up. I've got a live plant in here right now, and I'll tell you how I'm keeping that one alive. But so those two things, really didn't work. I think replacing this, that was really beneficial. There's still a little bit of a gap, but it's not as much of a gap as there was before. And I think, I don't know if those vent holes that you see, the one that you see right here, if those were there before. I think, if I recall, I added some vent holes closer to the bottom, but more ventilation coming throughout the tank, I think, was a benefit. But honestly, the biggest thing that I did is two things. I added to the substrate some cypress mulch as a top layer, and that really prevented, I think, the gnats from having direct access to the soil. And again, the moisture and the humidity in the tank was a big cause. So here I'm going to show you guys one of the other things that I did to really change that and some of the dynamics around there. But again, the things that the gnat traps were nice. They were good. They were mildly effective, but not as effective as I wanted them to be. But all in all, success. We don't have the gnat infestation. There was, hundreds of gnats that were breeding in this tank before. Here, I'll show you guys a couple other things that I did in the tank, and some changes that I think were effective in solving the solution to the gnat infestation. So here again, you see the cypress mulch that is kind of the top layer of the substrate here. You can dig down and you can see that, underneath there is more dirt. Here goes a good section to see back here, where, that's dirt. He knows not to bite, but he just has to get a good sniff sometimes first. And so the bark, cypress mulch. Come on, buddy. You're all right. You're all right. And so that has, again, just helped keep that top layer of soil not as moist and not as accessible. You see here that you can see the moisture barrier. So here I keep it really moist in there, and you can see the moisture barrier, but how it doesn't get to that top level where it's soaked there. And that's where, again, the gnats were laying eggs and breeding in that part here. And of course, on this side, it's a lot hotter, so it dries out more quickly. But here, I always try to keep a good moisture barrier. And then, of course, that's where all my cleanup crew and all that is, in that moisture barrier. And then the other big factor is this little waterfall
drinking fountain. So this here is a decorative waterfall that I bought from Michael's for about 20 bucks. And I had to modify it, take a Dremel to it, and sit it so this part of the waterfall would actually sit in here and have this part accessible for drinking here, because it had a piece here that this waterfall piece sat on top of, and there was water underneath it. And so of course I wanted this to operate as a drinking fountain. And the flip side of that is, again, Savannah Monitors are always tearing up stuff. Look at that little draw of blood there, huh? Always tearing up stuff. And so the he would knock over his water tank, and that would spill everywhere, and again just increase that top layer of moisture where the gnats were breeding. So this here is effectively kind of wedged in there. The water's moving, so it's fresh water for him to drink. And then again, he can't knock this over. And then again, gnats just kind of chilling, in that water as well. So there is filtration. I don't know if I want to take that off. So here underneath, and when I take that out, there's holes that I drilled there for water flow, and then the pump down there, and then I've got some filter media in there just to help keep the water clean. And so that's just some polyfill that I use in like all of my tanks and all that good stuff. So and it's nice because it has a little light on it. And then, like I said, so this plants are hard to keep. I had pothos in there earlier. I had it in the substrate and it was dug up. So these plants, I actually keep the roots here in the water. So that's how these plants are able to survive at least a little bit. They're not the prettiest, but they work. And so I keep those roots in that water, and of course keep that all full up. And show you Mr. Dino out here. Come here. Come on. It's just my hand. Just my hand. Just my hand. Yeah, all right, buddy. He does.
All right, so here goes Dino. I got him out because, as you guys saw, there was a little bit of a nip there, and it's important, with a Savannah monitor in regards to taming, that they realize that they don't win those battles. Who's in charge, still, all of that, and so he likes head pets. So that'll calm him down. That it's okay. So again, it's been a while since I had a little nip like that, and I'm shooting after hours when the kids are asleep and the house is quiet. So I am disrupting his sleep. So I understand that he's a little bit more agitated than normal. But again, in those moments, you want to just let them know that they're loved and they're safe, and but who's in charge at the same time. And so but thank you guys for watching this video. I hope that you learned something. I hope that you learned something that you can adapt to whatever it is that you're keeping, and I appreciate it. Say bye.